May I come in, sir?
Introduction about yourself.
My name is Nashrah Batool. I'm from district Kishtwar. I did my schooling from Islamia Farida High Secondary School, Kishtwar. I did BE in Electrical from Mahan Bachata Singh College of Engineering and Technology, Jammu. My hobbies are writing Urdu poetry, singing Kashmiri songs, listening to ghazals and Kashmiri music, cooking Kishtwari cuisines. This is my fourth attempt in the interview. I'm facing the interview, and I'm married and I have 2 kids.
Nashrah, before we come to the moot point, tell me, how do you stay motivated? This is your 4th attempt.
Sir, whenever I face a failure, my family is my biggest support, and it is a collective dream. It is not just my dream; it is a collective dream. My family keeps me motivated. Plus, whenever I face a failure, I want to improve myself. The willpower to improve myself, that is what keeps me going. And on the day of result itself, I feel very low, but the next day I know that I have to restart. So I just forget the failure and start again. That's what keeps me motivated.
Since you have been from an engineering background, so why only civil services?
Sir, civil services was always in the back of the mind of every candidate, I think, because it is the highest state civil service, and also my desire to serve in various fields to make a positive impact on the society. That's what motivated me to apply for civil services. Plus the job stability and security it offers. That is also one of the reasons.
But you get the same in any engineering field. Engineering is a professional.
Sir, but the spectrum to provide services, that is broader in this civil services. So, yes, sir.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been married and how old are your kids?
Sir, I got married in 2014, and my eldest son he will be 9 years old this year, and my youngest son, he will be 7 years. He's 7 years old right now.
How do you balance preparation and taking care of it?
So, like I said, my family supports me. There is support from the family. Plus, I think I am a good manager of time, so that's how I manage time and take care of my family side by side with my studies.
What do you think about this women representation in administration? Because as we have seen, the number of women that make it to the civil services, and both at the central level, at the state level, it is now, of course, improving, but the representation is still low. How do you think we can improve the representation of the women? Because you happen to come from, you are a married woman, you have other responsibilities, but still you manage to come, and this is your 4th interview, which is quite, I think, encouraging. So what do you have to say about it?
Sir, first of all, I would like to mention one of the IAS officers from my district, Miss Sahrish Asgar. So I think success of one woman in the field, it motivates and inspires other women. So I think that is one of the points that the women who are able to keep going, they should keep going, not for their own sake only, but for the sake of the whole women community. In addition to that, there should be opportunity. There should be improvement in the education system. There should be proper counseling system in place to guide women who want to do something in various fields, not just civil services. There should be a proper counseling system for them, and financial assistance system, scholarships should also be there to motivate, to encourage women who want to do better in this field.
So you are basically you have done engineering in electrical,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
So over the last many years, in fact, I think this year only, we have seen a lot of power outages in Jammu and Kashmir. What is the reason for that?
Sir, the power deficit, the supply and demand mismatch is the reason. However, we are the power, the UT of Jammu and Kashmir, it is the power hub of India, but we are not utilizing the electricity that we are generating. Plus, we have not tapped the whole potential.
Do you think we are self-sufficient as far as our generating capacity is concerned?
So we have a potential. The hydroelectric potential itself in our state is 20,000 megawatts, and but we have only been able to utilize some 3,000 something megawatts of that.
No, but what is the reason behind the mismatch?
Sir,
Are we power deficit or are we power surplus?
We have, as I said, there is much potential. We have
No,
not
I'm
tapped
not talking
it.
about the potential.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about as of right now. Are we a power deficit UT?
That is the reason for power outage.
What
We
is
are not-
the coming back to it? What is the difference between the generation and the demand side?
Sir, there is some 54% there's some 54% shortage of power.
Can you tell me the name of a few that we are developing? Some projects
Sorry,
that we are
sir?
developing. Some projects that we are developing that are currently under construction.
Yes, sir. So there is 1,000 megawatt hydroelectric project in district Kishtwar, Pakaldul project. We have Ratli project in Kishtwar district itself, that is 850 megawatts. We have Kiro and Kwar coming up. Karthai project is there. These are the projects that are coming. Sawalkot in Riyasi district, that is also one of the.
I'll ask two questions, then so you can continue, right? There was a recent judgment by Supreme Court about the maintenance of women. Do you find some parallels between this judgment and Shah Banu case? What is Shah Banu case? Have you heard about it?
Yes, yes, yes. The Shah Banu case was in 1985 case where a woman sought maintenance from her husband. That is the case it was related to. It is the recent judgment and Shah Banu case, they are linked to each other because there is an act, Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986, which provides for maintenance of women but only up to a certain period. That is 3 months. That is known as Iddat period. But the Shah Banu case, and there was another case, Daniel Latifi case. In that case also, it was provided that the husband is not responsible for providing only maintenance with the women, but also provide a fair and reasonable provision for her entire life. Not maintenance, but to provide for her. There should be some provision. So the Act of 1986, it was overriding the Supreme Court judgments of Shah Banu case 1985, and the recent court has said that the Act of 1986 cannot override the judgment that was given in Shah Banu case, and a husband should be responsible for the maintenance for entire life, not in the form of money, but as a source.
Last question. Yesterday, I think, you have public administration as your option, right? Yesterday only, in Gujarat, a senior, civil servant, he was prematurely retired from the service by the government. What do you mean by premature retirement, and why does government actually resort to such measures?
So premature retirement is when an officer is dismissed from his duties, is asked to retire before his superannuation or reaching a retirement period or completing his full services. It may be for compensatory reasons, it may be for compassionate reasons, like as a punishment for an offence.
What is the article of the Constitution of India which governs?
Sorry, sir.
The article of the Constitution of India which empowers the government to exercise its right to compulsorily retire.
There are two terms that we use for retirement. One, as sir mentioned, there is retirement and the other is voluntary retirement. So what are the two terms? What are the differences between these two terms?
So retirement is when an official reaches an age of superannuation or completes his full service. Voluntary retirement is retirement where he has to go to the retirement when he completes the service. But in case of voluntary retirement, he can voluntarily ask to be retired before the completion of that. But there are certain conditions he has to complete at least 25 years, I think.
So since you have mentioned in your interest that you love cooking Kashmiri and Kishtwari cuisine.
Just Kishtwari.
Kishtwari cuisine. So how do you define Kishtwari cuisine and what are the differences between the normal Kashmiri cuisine and Kishtwari cuisine?
So Kishtwar is a mountainous area. The geography of the district is different from Kashmir. Plus the availability of food also differs, so that causes a difference in the food habits of people. So some of the dishes are, for example, soswagre is cooked in Kishtwar, hol is cooked in Kishtwar. The reason for cooking of those particular dishes is that in winters, it is not possible to grind the crops with the corns or grains because of frozen water. Because mostly it was ground in the water mills. So that is why people used to put whole cereals. So that is what makes Kishtwari cuisine different.
Can you tell me something about the topography of Jammu and Kashmir together? Like, what are the basic divisions of this state in terms of the geography?
Sir, in Jammu and Kashmir, the Kashmir region and the Kishtwar region, these are the mountainous region, Pir Panjal range region. These are the lower Himalayas. I'm not sure, sorry. And the Jammu region, it is the Shivalik region. It does not have high mountain ranges. It is mostly plain area.
Okay, so you're missing one basic point about one part of the union territory being a valley. So, which area are we referring to?
The Kashmir area of the valley.
Tell me, if you are selected as a civil servant, what are the qualities that you would bring to the services that you think you already have?
Sir, I believe that I am the most hardworking, dedicated, and consistent uh, candidate for this examination. So I'll bring those qualities to the civil services. Plus, I am a good time manager because I'm a mother of two and I'm managing studies as well along. So I am a good time manager. Plus, I don't give up easily. So that is one of the qualities I'll be bringing.
Can you tell me what are some of the basic administrative issues or governance issues that JNK is facing right now?
Sir, first and foremost issue is the issue of corruption. Uh, in addition to that, we have shortage of skills that are required for doing different jobs. Plus, digital divide is there. We are on the way to achieve the goal of e-governance. We are on the way, but we have just started. So digital divide is one of the reasons, and connectivity causes administrative troubles because there is difference in topography. Some of the regions are not connected as well as the other regions. So these are some of the issues.
You must have heard in the news recently, we have seen many terrorist attacks taking place in Jammu division.
Yes.
So, what is the reason for this shift in the terrorist attacks in JNK?
Sir, the infiltration has increased over the years. Infiltration, the terror financing, there has been put a curb, but it is not. We are still not there. So terror financing is still going on. Plus, the proxy war is going on, where the non-state actors are participating in this. And also, there is maybe disengagement of youth in constructive activities is also one of the reasons.
But why do we see it in one specific region? Like Kashmir was known for militancy and terrorism. Why do we see a shift towards the Jammu division?
Sir, in my opinion, there has been a tightening of security and a very aggressive attack on terrorism in Kashmir division. However, in Jammu division, there has never been an issue of terrorism at such scale as was in Kashmir. So maybe Jammu does not have such tight security system as
Has yeah,
Nashrah,
sure. I'll just add to this. You said that infiltration has increased. Is this factually correct? Has infiltration increased? I'm talking per numbers over the past, say, 10 years.
So
Have the number of attempts at infiltration increased or have they decreased?
Sir, over the past week, I read at least 2-3 news where in Kupwara an infiltration attempt was foiled. Plus, there was also a report by police itself that infiltration has increased. So that makes me believe that there has been increase in infiltration.
in Nashrah, we have a fundamental right, the right to profess religion. Now, in context of this fundamental right, tell me, how much do you support the recent Supreme Court judgment? It says that a woman is entitled to maintenance even after the divorce.
Yes, sir.
What is your take on it?
Sir, right to profess religion. It is also there is also another right, that is right to equality and right against exploitation. So I think for the sake of women, there has to be balance between two rights. So for the sake of women's security itself, so that balance has to be rights, because rights are not absolute. There are restrictions and there are provisions for exemptions or for keeping it light for the sake of upgradation or upliftment of any section.
Do you mean a fundamental right can override another fundamental right?
So there has to be balance between two rights. I am not an expert. It is for the courts to decide.
Your opinion.
Yes, sir. So in my opinion, there has to be balance. One right, in order to support or in order to encourage one right, another right should not be violated or discouraged. That's my opinion, sir.
Yeah. Okay. how do you define e-governance? Because you said it in one of your answers. What is e-governance?
So e-governance is a part of governance where we use information and communication technology for providing services to the people and carrying out the work of the government.
Right, absolutely. So, if we, sir asked you a question about the reason that administrative issues that we are facing, right, and you mentioned corruption and sort of that we are on the way to e-governance, but we are not there yet. So, if we look at it historically, Jammu and Kashmir right now is among the leading union territories and states with the number of online services being provided to people. But do you think those services are actually having an impact in bridging the digital divide? Because you mentioned it as one of the reasons as being an administrative issue.
Sir, these processes, they cannot just be solved. These problems cannot be solved overnight. It will take time. So there has been an improvement. We have many services, like there is JKAS to provide services to people. In addition, there has been digitization of land records and offices, government offices. So we are there, but there's still there are some things to do. For example, people are not aware that they can seek such services from government. They're not aware that they can check the records or the statuses of their land records online also. So that awareness also has to be created. There has to be proper system. We have to keep in mind the cyber security of Jammu and Kashmir, because we are already, Jammu and Kashmir has been an insecure region in terms of terrorism also. So cyber security is one of the issues that has to be checked. In addition to that, there has to be proper infrastructure. Not all the villages, far-flung villages, are connected to internet. That has also to be looked at.
One more question I'll ask. As we are from Kishtwar, right? We see now and then these horrific accidents taking place. I think last week only 4 members of a single family died. What is the problem with the road connectivity in Kishtwar?
Sir, first of all, Kishtwar being a mountainous region, the road terrain is, I would not say rough, but it is tough for a new driver particularly. Plus, in addition to that, there are reasons like there is no proper check on the registration of old vehicles are still running. The licensing system, there has to be accountability in that also, because many drivers drive without license. Overcrowding is one of the problems.
What is the way out? Like, how can we improve the connectivity of Kishtwar with rest of parts of this Jammu and Kashmir?
Sir, connectivity has improved over the years. We are building tunnels. We have a tunnel from Khileni to Chineni. We have a proposed tunnel in Vailu to connect Vailu with Singhpura area in Chhatru. So those are some steps being taken to improve the connectivity of the region.
All right. So, what is your service preference?
The administration.
So, tomorrow, if you are selected for the police services, what are the challenges that you think you would be facing, and how would you be managing those challenges?
Sir, first of all, I never enter an interview thinking that I won't be selected for the preference that I have opted for. So in case I am not selected in that service and I have to take police services, I will work accordingly. I'll try
what
to
are the
manage
challenges that you think you would be facing?
So my first and foremost problem will be my time management, as I have a family to look after side by side, and police services require self-investment much more than the other administrations. So that will be my foremost challenge.
And
physically also, I think I'll have to improve.
And how are you, what do you think, how would you manage those challenges?
Well, I'll try to manage my time better. My family will be there to support me. They have supported me till now.
Okay, so one last question from your electrical background. So how do we distribute electricity in India? Like, what is the system of distribution?
The electricity is first produced in the power stations. Then it is supplied to the grid station. From grid stations, it goes to the substations. From substations to the transformers, and from transformers, it goes to.
So there is something like we have a northern grid. So you have all the hydro power projects
Yes,
and their electricity to the northern grid, and from there you
go to the substations.
no, from the northern grid you send the electricity back to the states. So it is the NHPC which produces and manages all those things. So Do you think that there is something that is required in terms of reform in this electricity distribution of northern grid and all the central grids that we have?
Yes, sir. Sir, as the infrastructure, as it becomes older in the infrastructure, there are more losses, leakages. So it leads to loss of distributed power also. So infrastructure must be updated from time to time. Plus, our region being a mountainous region and ecologically unstable region, there are incidents of landslides, there are earthquakes which damage the infrastructure. So it has to be strengthened, and to prevent those losses, there has to be updation time to time.
Since there is a growing tourism sector in Jammu and Kashmir, so what do you think? What are the challenges that this sector is still facing, and what are the implications of more tourism, more tourists coming to Jammu and Kashmir, which is a ecologically fragile zone?
So the challenges faced by tourism sector is first connectivity in some regions. Another is infrastructure, lack of infrastructure. Then there is lack of awareness. Lack of awareness in the form of there are not advertisements or campaigns properly. For example, in Kishtwar itself, I believe that as much as the tourism potential of the place, it has not been tapped. So that is one challenge. And the implications of increased tourism it can have an impact on the ecology and environment of the system. However, it will have a positive impact on the economy. But on the ecology, as we are already ecologically fragile system, so that may be impacted. And also employment will increase, that will be positive effect.
Just one this. What is the difference between a lumped parameter system and a distributed parameter system in circuitry?
Sorry, sir, I have been out of touch for a really long time.
Okay. Then just tell me something about the current wars between Edison and Tesla.
Sorry, sir.
The current wars between Edison and Tesla, between alternating and direct current, and how that impacted the way that we distribute electricity in our homes.
Between AC and DC?
Yeah. Are you aware of the current wars? The war between alternating and direct current?
So, not sure. No.
It's okay. So what is the difference between AC and DC?
So AC current and DC current. AC current is the current that is generated by the hydroelectric power stations. The current that we distribute in Jammu and Kashmir, it is AC current. So AC is easier to be distributed.
Are you sure?
There are losses. There are lesser losses as compared to DC current.
Are you sure that we use AC?
Sir, it is distributed in AC form. Hydroelectric projects produce AC current. Solar projects produce, and wind energy projects, they produce DC current. So DC is first of all you have to find storage system for DC. And then in the case of distribution also there are more losses. So as for the current to reach a longer distance, it will already, most of the power will be lost. So DC has that one challenge also. And AC current can be upstepped and downstepped. That is one through the transformers. That is one positive point. Whereas DC current cannot be upstepped in voltage. So that can also be a trouble in the distribution process. So.
Read up a bit on
Nashrah,
this.
do you follow the international affairs?
Sir, I read newspapers.
Tell me, what is axis of resistance?
Sorry, sir.
No, do you know how a proxy group, Hezbollah, Hamas, all are like united in confronting a particular entity? So what's your take on this? How do you see the present scenario? Why do you think, let me rephrase it, why do you think it is heading? And how can we stop it?
Sir, the current this dispute going on in the Middle East, it has three basic reasons behind it. One is the border security of Israel or Palestine. Second is the Israeli settlements in West Bank and Gaza. Third is So these are the reasons. These are some of the reasons. So these non-state actors that are acting against a particular entity, these wars are known as proxy wars. So proxy war, I don't think, in my opinion, is not the solution. I think there has to be because it only leads to more war and more loss of life and property on both sides. So in my opinion, there has to be consultation. There has to be more talking has to be there, and international community particularly should take part, and should be a mediator in the issue between the two parties and find a peaceful solution rather than a violent one.
Nashrah, who's your favorite poet?
Sir, I have read Faiz Ahmad Faiz Sahab.
Okay, so
Some
what
of
do you
his
like
works,
about Faiz Ahmad Faiz?
Sir, his poetry was versatile. Whenever you read his poem, you would find a romantic touch, as well as that it was filled with patriotism actually. So that is one style I like, and the simplicity in his poems. That
Is there any difference in the poetry that Faiz wrote before independence and after independence?
So before independence, most of his poetry was romantic.
Okay.
It has a romantic meaning also. Even after independence, when he wrote other poems, when you read it, if you don't know that it has to be in the patriotic sense, you will still find it in romantic sense. But that patriotic, he changed the meanings of a few words. For example, for him, his beloved was not some person; it was his country.
Okay, so
those meanings.
why is it that in Faiz's poetry there is a tinge or some instances of situations like freedom, independence? Why do we see those things very much there in the poetry of Faiz?
Sir, in my opinion, Faiz Ahmad Faiz was a revolutionary. He was anti-dictatorship. So that is why he thought that it was dictator. He wanted his country to be free from dictatorship. So that is why there was that.
Who was the dictator of the time? Who was the dictator that he was writing against?
Ziaul Haq, actually.
All right, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. Thank you.